It was a cold night, but this morning everything is warm and fuzzy because my camera is on and I'm talking to it right now. The only thing that seems to not be working right now is the little speaker in it. It's very muffled, but I'll take that. And hopefully the microphone's working. I won't know until I try and play this back, but it'll be hard to tell because the speaker's not working, but this is amazing news. I'm so relieved. Camera appears to be working. So I'm super relieved and happy about that. It's 9:30 and I'm on my way west on Wolf Lake toward, I don't even know, this part of the route. It's confusing. Boundary Lake, and then a lake which no one seems to agree upon the name. It's either Four Bass Lake or three variations of spelling of Four Bear Lake. And then Duck Lake, Ball Lake, and Destination Lake, Sinclair Lake. And I may have made a small oversight in planning to them. This day is going to have over 4,000 meters of portages, which have to be double carried, obviously, as usual. And I also don't know where one of the portages is. I thought I had, between my three maps, I thought I had a complete route. But in between Ball Lake and Duck Lake, I have no idea where the portage is. But there's a creek I can see on the topo, so I'll start there. And worst case, I guess I'll slog up the creek, and this could be a long day. At least this is the perfect day for portaging. It's a high of 13, so nice and cool, which is great for this much time on the trail. Don't get too hot. And I've got a tailwind, which was forecasted, and that should work out perfectly. It's blowing from the east and I'm heading west. And I just have to say how impressed I am with Panasonic. I can't believe this camera came back. I've always loved Panasonic products for a long time. From shavers to TVs to cameras. I'm just super impressed. Great products. And then the Rode mic that I have also seems to be working, so that's also impressive. But I've been impressed with that product from the beginning, the Rode Video Micro external mic. Just as I was thinking how pointless trolling has been lately, probably because of the cooling water temperatures, fish just aren't as feisty and willing to chase. Oh! Just got one on the troll finally. Not big. There are a lot of smallies in this lake though, that's for sure. Anyway, not even worth showing on camera. But nice to get one on the troll. The last 3 trips, as I mentioned, have been abysmal for fishing. That's because mostly what I've done is troll. But fish aren't responding to it too well right now. Almost at the end of Wolf Lake. There's a bay over that way. That is where I'm supposed to go, into that bay. And then up there are some narrows which lead you to Eli Lake, I think. And that way north will take you on a whole nother route up through Dutton, Myrtle Lake, and then back to Island Lake if you want. There's various things you can do. There's so much to explore here. It's amazing how many routes you can make here. I'm hoping to make a map of it all this winter. I've already done a map of Noganosh, and I'm just going to connect it out to Magnetewan region here, I think, time permitting. First portage is easy to find. There's a cached boat right at the end of the bay. Off to a good start. That portage was a piece of cake. And now I'm in Boundary Lake, which I believe has walleye, and I think another lake on the way has walleye. Maybe it's 4 bass or 4 bear. I'm just gonna call it 4 bear. That seems to be the general consensus online. And then Duck Lake might as well, I believe. So the next 3 lakes have walleye. See if I can get one. I might stop for a shore lunch if I do. Finally found the Portage in this bay. I was paddling around, couldn't find anything, and then finally saw this flag buried behind all the pine needles. And I'm a little concerned right now because my phone battery is at 29%, and that's my only means of GPS. I tried walking back there and there's not a clear trail. Yet, at least not right here. So, just worried about getting myself lost, because after here it's probably equally hard to find a trail. So this could be that critical juncture where I either have a successful trip, get lost, or turn back here and go back the way I know I can get out. Of course, I'm not going to do that. So, onward, and we'll see if this is a success or a disaster. Well, I was on a trail, and suddenly I can't see one anymore. And all my inhibitions are telling me this is a bad idea. This is day 91 of camping this season. I don't think I've ever felt so worried about getting lost all summer. Even last summer, did roughly the same number of days of camping, and I don't think I ever felt so concerned. But I am a firstborn, I'm a rule abider, and I'm always listening to my inhibitions, and this is the one place where I let myself not listen. So I'm going to keep going, and hopefully there's a semblance of a trail again soon. One thing in this situation that's so important is to keep at least a lighter on you at all times. In between trips, like back to your gear, your second load, wherever, always need a lighter. Aha. Someone at some point marked the trail with spray paint on some of the trees, but it's gotten quite faint and it's just visible. It's getting down to, I think, 2 or 3 tonight, so definitely want to be settled in before it's too late. I've been searching for the trail for a good 20 minutes. That people have done a good job. Like, work has been done to make the trail usable. There's a cairn there. There's the spray paint. There's the odd flag. Here's another cairn with a bit of spray paint on it. And that led me to here, but I thought there was no way they wanted me to cross this. It's relatively deep. I don't know, a foot of water. And the earth beneath it is really squishy, so I'm just going to sink right in. And I couldn't see this before, but there is a little bit of spray paint over there. So, I guess I'm going to get my wet shoes on and cross this. It's either that or turn back. Here's a life hack for you. I did this in the spring when all the meltwater was had flooded up the portages. Load the gear into the canoe and just ferry it across. I'm going to see if I can pole across, and if I can't, at least I don't have all that weight on my back pushing me deeper into the mud. This way most of the weight's in the canoe and I can just get across pretty easily, and at the worst case scenario, drag it. Best case, pole. Definitely not able to pole through it, but waded across. Didn't even get up to my knees, so it's good. Onward. Up this hill. After going across that swamp and up that hill, I found no semblance of a trail. But I bushwhacked over to this trail, which I can see on the topo right here. And now I can go up on this, get close to Four Bear Lake, and then maybe bushwhack over again. But this is not good. Battery's at 22%, and at 15% it goes into battery saver mode and GPS no longer works. So it's not good. Back to the canoe, back to the marker I saw, and here are some marks that I did not notice. Oh my goodness. So that bushwhack was for nothing. I'm going to take the trail. Hopefully it also links up with the ATV trail and back to my gear. Made it, finally. This is what you want a Portage GPS track to look like. That is not. That dotted black line is the ATV trail. When you turn off that ATV trail, it actually still is an ATV trail, and that's why my track is so straight, well, relatively. But that was chaos. I'm not going to make it to Sinclair tonight. I'm going to play it safe. Camp on the next lake after this one. I reached Four Bear there. I'm going to go past that into Duck. And then Duck into Ball Lake is the one where I don't know where the Portage is. So it'll be good for me to be on Duck tonight. I can try and find that trailhead, scout it, find a workable route, and then take it tomorrow. And then I do have a rough idea of where the Portage is from Ball into Sinclair. So that should all be doable tomorrow. I would even make this a longer trip. I have enough food. But Friday, today's Wednesday, Friday is supposed to be rainy. Saturday is supposed to be rainy. And Sunday is supposed to be a monsoon. So, it's fall. I'm sure it's going to be cold, and I don't want to get caught in that, especially if I'm on a less than well-traveled route. Oh, and my power bank has a bit of juice left in it, so I can charge my phone up a bit tonight, have enough GPS to get me to Sinclair tomorrow, and that'll help a ton because it's basically done the battery. So I really shouldn't have wasted so much battery on that first, okay, back at the main ATV trail. On that first night on Island Lake, I was like checking the leaf score and going on Facebook. Wasted so much battery. That was really dumb. Four Bear is the most scenic lake so far. It's lined with steeply sloped rock, which usually suggests that it's a pretty deep lake. Anyway, it's beautiful. Coming up to some more here. I'm back to using the small camera because the big one is not turning on again. At the west end of Four Bear Lake, there's some incredible rock formations right below this dam, which leads into some rapids, and then who knows what down there, but it begs to be traveled. Looks so cool. Look at that rock. It's just like this all along Four Bear Lake. Definitely the most beautiful so far. I'm heading into Duck Lake now, and there's thin narrows here with just enough room to get this canoe by, and then a very shallow beaver dam that you might be able to push over. Well, I've seen two established campsites on Duck Lake so far. One was over there, but it was highly developed, and the occupants of the past left all kinds of pots and pans there and just left them there as if they owned the place. And I'm on the island now, and it is no different, and in fact quite a bit worse. People brought in barbecues. Make a fire. That's ridiculous. And then there's an old barbecue there which has just been abandoned, I guess. Cook on a fire. What is the matter with people? That is upsetting. That makes me mad. They left an old cooler, some broken glasses, and old pans. Infuriating. So, I am going to keep going and see if I can find a campsite that still feels like nature. Finally set up on campsite number 3, which was the least offensive. Just a little bit of human development, but nothing terrible. Set up the tent in case it started raining, even though I really wanted to eat. Whenever it's overcast like this, it's always best to set up the tent first, because if you eat and it starts raining, you'll regret it. So it's finally time to eat, process the firewood. It's getting mid-afternoon, so my energy levels are pretty low. Oh, it feels good to be in a hammock, warm. It was quite a cold day with the wind. But I've got a belly full of food and tea, and gathered firewood for tonight, so I'm all warmed up, resting in the hammock, and going to continue my book, which despite the strange writing style has been excellent so far. So this is a good reward for me right now at the end of a tough day, especially with the dark cloud of my camera, my big camera, hanging over my head. Every time I try to turn it on and it doesn't turn on, it's just it sucks throwing away hundreds of dollars, especially when you don't have a job. Based on the fact that there are 3 developed campsites on Duck Lake, I would say there are definitely walleye in this lake. That would be something that would interest people to come in here. But judging by the number of frying pans on the campsites, I'd say this lake sees more than its fair share of fish fries. So I haven't had a bite yet. Just been out for like half an hour or so, but some groups that come here and camp, you know, it's like 4 to 6 people, and if each of them are taking their limit each day and having big fish fries, you can decimate a small, relatively small lake like this. There are not as many fish in lakes as people think there are. Gotta be conservation minded, otherwise the fishery is not going to be there for, you know, these guys. You can come have the big fish fries, but it's not going to last. But some people live like that. They live without fear of future consequences, and those people are not conservationists. And they upset me. It's definitely a walleye lake. Just got into my first one. It's been a nice eater. It's too late now. I don't feel like going to the workout. Hook popped out. That's great. Let's turn toward the sun so you can actually see it. sun just went down, past the trees anyway. Got it on this glowing paddle tail, neon jig head. Nice little fish. It's getting chilly. It's supposed to be around 2 or 3 overnight, and it's going to be cold, but there's something I love about it. Em and I were talking about it on the last trip to Wolf Lake. There's something about the chill of fall that is comforting, and I couldn't find the right word for it, but the closest I can come is the rawness of it. Something beautiful about it. It just feels like the north, it feels like Canada, and I love it. Back on the first night when I had signal, I saw a post on Facebook that said that there's a small geomagnetic storm, and there's a chance that I could see it tonight, the aurora that is. But I've said that so many nights, not just this season, not just on camera, but I've said that to myself countless times over the years and it's never happened. So I'm definitely not getting my hopes up, but this will probably be the last chance I have this year before I go back down south to south central Ontario to see them. Just making some popcorn. Owls are going crazy. Well, relatively speaking. On this trip I've heard so many owls. More than any other trip for sure. But I can't record it because I need my good microphone. It doesn't work on the small camera. I'm sure it'll never come out on this little camera, but there actually is an aurora. It's faint, but relatively high. It's well above the horizon. And it's still early. Sun only set, I don't even know if it was an hour ago. But I'm going to keep an eye on this. Well, it's past 9:30 and it's plenty dark now, but still no significant aurora. Big surprise. But the nights have been beautiful, all three. Very clear and amazing stargazing. Bundles of shooting stars, I've seen a lot. And owls going pretty frequently. So I can't complain.